Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to do a quick video on the reason why you may be getting bad solder joints. We're going to take a look and see if the type and brand of solder that you're using is causing you to have issues with not having shiny solder joints. I'm Jeff with Titan FPV, and you're going to acquire some knowledge today. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. Give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you're new to the hobby, or even you've been around a while, just like me, you struggle to get clean solder joints and you can't figure out what the issue is. You've tried everything. You have a high quality iron. You use flux paste or a flux pen. You have a clean area. You keep the tip of your soldering iron clean, but your solder joints, they still just don't look good. It's embarrassing. And worst of all, a cold joint could have caused you an issue there with a possible crash or something like that. Your quad just not flying right. But today we're going to look and see if just spending a few more dollars on some quality solder is going to give you better results. Previously, I was using this, I know, gasp. You're looking at this and saying, hey, look, there's your problem right away. Well, apparently that wasn't obvious, and it may not be obvious to some of you either. You go on Amazon or another website, you see a product has good reviews. I do always say take that with a grain of salt. In this case, that definitely applies. This is MAM. It's got a very high rating. I'll post here on the screen here. Several thousand reviews. Most of them are positive, but this is what I've been pretty much using since the beginning. And I could never just get those nice looking joints. The shiny ones, they were just, beautiful. I take the time to, plan out my builds and strip the wires accordingly. I do use flux. In this case, I'm using TBS flux paste. Previously, I used a Kester flux pen, and I couldn't get good looking joints, guys. So you see here the joints on the right. I mean, they're not horrible, but this is about the best I could achieve, no matter what temperature I used with this MAM solder. And on the left, these joints are from when I just picked up the Kester. And it looks beautiful. Now, I don't know if it's perfect or not. You can pick these boards up. Diatone makes a practice board. This is a Pyrodrone board. I'll post a link in the video description here. But it just has pretty much all the different type of pads that you're going to experience. And you can just practice all those joints. So pretty much everything you're going to encounter on a flight controller or ESC or VTX. But as you see, these joints look much better. Now, this is 6337, so I believe this has a lower melting point than the 6040 solder. Some people do use 6040 solder. Like I said, I've always used the 6337. I believe these are about $8 to $10 on Amazon. I actually just picked up another one of these before I realized what the issue was, so it's probably going in the trash or whatnot. But many of you know Kester. Most people swear by this, and there's a reason why. Now, this is a 1 pound roll. I also picked this up on Amazon with Prime shipping. I believe it was about $30.50 US. This is also 6337. It's 0.8 millimeter. I think that's the same diameter that this one's used. I like that size. But it comes in this roll. And yeah, here it is. But I'm just going to do a quick demonstration on what a joint looks like. I'll post a link to my soldering tools. You do want to use some good tools there. You always want to keep your tip clean so it doesn't corrode. You don't want to use sandpaper or anything very corrosive like that, because you will eat the coating off of your iron, and you'll essentially ruin it, and the solder's just not going to stick to it. I do have a good quality iron. It's called KSGR, I guess Kester. I've seen this one online. A lot of you use a TS100. That's a good option there if you're in the field. But this is just a soldering station that was reasonably priced. I believe I paid around $45 on Banggood a couple years ago. But I'll post a link here. You can also get these on Amazon. They do have versions with different firmware. But I've just found that this iron generally heats up quick, and you do have an option for interchangeable tips. I'll also post a link to the tips here in the video description, and you guys can check those out. You want to use the tip for the job. I do fly a lot of micros, so I use the smaller tip generally. Get in with that hot iron and get out quickly, and we'll take a look at that. I'm going to set it to 375, and we'll just solder a couple pads here, and or you can see the difference for yourself. All right, my iron's up to 375 degrees Celsius. And that's what I'll be using for this demonstration. Now, this is by no means a soldering tutorial. I'm definitely not an expert. This is just something I found, and I thought it might be useful to pass on to you guys. So if you're new, good quality solder does make a difference. All right, so we're going to go ahead and clean the tip. Now, what I like to do, go ahead and clean the tip good, and then add solder to either side. Forgive me, I'm going to try to do this and video at the same time, so let's see if I don't burn the house down there. So I'll see if you can get that in focus here. Regardless, it's shiny here. And this is going to let the solder conduct. It's going to transfer the heat better to the board and from the iron there. So because the solder is going to tend to jump from one surface to the other. And all right, so you can do this a couple different ways. We're going to use this pad right here. Now you can use flux. I'm going to do the first one without flux. You just want to let that go down there. We're going to heat that pad up, and then you're just going to slowly work the solder in there. You don't want to get too much, and that's it. And that looks like a nice clean joint there. You can see how pretty that joint is, and that's, you know, my third attempt with this Kester solder. So it's looking nice there. And for comparison, we're going to go ahead and use some of the original cheap Amazon MAM solder, and we'll see how that looks. And you'll see what I'm talking about here really quickly. Always want to clean your tip in between joints. Ugh. Same thing. Irons at 375. We're going to, after cleaning the tip, we're going to add some solder. So you get a nice covering of the solder tip. We're going to choose this pad down here and just heat it up. And like I said, all right, there you go. Now that's not too bad. That's actually pretty good. Still does not look like the other joints did there. So let's try it again here. Let's actually put some flux on it this time. Not a whole lot, that just helps the solder flow. And like I said, it's pre-mixed with flux. And you do want to use leaded solder, non-leaded solder. I know it might be more environmentally safe, but it's probably not going to give you the desired results. We want to put some on the tip as well. And then we're going to go ahead and just get in here and feed the solder in. Now left that one down a little bit longer. And the joint, like I said, it's not horrible, but you see, I don't know if there's like trash in there, but It just doesn't shine. It's dull, more dull than the Kester solder is there. So always had a problem. Very rarely could I get good looking joints, and I was using this cheap solder. So if you're experiencing the same thing, it may just be as simple as swapping your solder over there. Now we'll try some flux here with the Kester as well. But like I said, I didn't even really need that. I like to melt the flux first before I go in and apply the solder there. Just a slight coating there on the tip there. And we'll just heat this pad up and work it in. All right. As you see, they're much shinier. As always, guys, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your support, and we'll catch you in the next one.